Okay. So, I guess I'm trying to think of the best way to like soft launch this location to you guys because it's not a type of location I've done yet before. So, let's just go kind of total curveball. If I were to show you a place, like a type of place, and your first reaction would be like, "Oh, that's got to be haunted." What type of a place would it be?
I'm
A
leaning like
sanitarium.
I was gonna say leaning like more old Victorian mansion or something. Could have been turned into a sanitarium though. I wouldn't put it past Connecticut to do something like that.
Yeah, no, those are both good guesses. Well, I've shared with you guys our location and your picture slides this time. So if you guys want to open that up, what we'll actually be looking at today is a cemetery. And
Ooh.
I don't know why it had never occurred to me to look for a haunted cemetery before, but I have to say,
Wow.
Well, I mean, the previous state we did was Arizona, and I
yeah,
don't know that there's a whole lot of haunted cemeteries in the Southwest. So,
yeah. I think you're lucky
I
if you're just not thrown out in the desert to decompose out there in the
yeah.
Southwest. So,
Also, I love that the first graphic you included was a GIF of the the skeleton song,
yes,
like the
yes,
old
spooky,
Disney
scary skeletons,
skeletons. I
yes.
love it.
It is, I'm trying to throw in the fall vibes. I know this will be coming out, post Halloween because we're recording this now in October instead of releasing it in October. Oopsies.
Wah,
Um,
wah.
but we still got like the chill in the air, the spooky fall vibe. So I
Yeah, it still
wanted to
fits.
set the tone for everyone. All right. So I'm Amber, your tour guide for this episode of Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. And tonight I'll be telling my co-hosts Amy and Joe all about the Union Cemetery in Easton, Connecticut. Just a reminder that you can find content warnings for this episode in the description below. So,
Hey, cemetery, we're ready.
cemetery. So I'd like you guys to take out your classic haunting bingo cards, and just let me know. Uh, Honestly, let's throw it out there now. Top three ghosts archetypes you think you will see in this cemetery. Let's see who's most
Ooh,
accurate.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Okay,
Dead
Joe.
soldier.
Okay, dead soldier.
I got
Amy.
one. Woman in white. She's typically called Woman in White. They're the
That was
grieving
Okay.
going to be my
mother.
second one.
Okay. Any other
Um,
guesses?
some sort of wronged woman, maybe a witch of some sort, or supposed witch of some sort.
Okay. Got witch. We got a witch, a
Do we have to
soldier.
do three? Because I've got one that is, to me, the most disturbing.
No,
Creepy
Okay.
go for it.
kids. Any
Oh.
Oh,
children ghosts is
oh,
the worst. The worst
Ugh.
by far.
the
Yeah.
children laughing in the middle of the
Yeah.
night.
Oh,
Stop.
God.
No, terrifying. That one is terrifying. Have you guys ever seen the movie Insidious?
Yes.
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 Because honestly, if you haven't, like, go watch it. Actually, a pretty good ghost movie, I think, personally. But, like, honestly, the creepiest scene in that one is, like, the little boy, like, dancing around the house and, like, running around. That one, like, I
Oh,
don't know what
yeah.
it is. Because it
Yeah.
happens one time and they never talk about that little boy, like, ever again, I don't think. But, like, it just
Yeah.
makes my skin crawl every time. Because,
Just
yes, ghost
creepy
children
as
are
fuck.
creepy. Creepy as fuck.
In there to creep you out specifically, and for
Yes.
nothing
Yes.
else.
Yep. Why are you still here? You're a kid. Go somewhere else. Go be
Ugh.
somewhere else. Do you have a parent to go hang out with? But yes, so all right, so we'll keep track of those guys, because this cemetery is got quite a few supposed hauntings. I didn't hear of too many names, which is kind of surprising to me in a cemetery where you have everyone's names like just out there, ready to view.
Yeah, you have tons
Not
of gravestones.
Not too many, yeah, but not too many named ghosts. So I think a lot of Connecticut too, and a lot of like the East Coast is more of those like you get a lot more of those like archetype hauntings of it's the structures are so old,
Fair.
maybe nobody pays attention to it as much or something. So,
Or something
um,
got lost to history or
mm-hmm,
misconstrued.
mm-hmm. So we have a few ghosts whose names we don't know. They kind of fall under these things. So. The Union Cemetery is in Easton, Connecticut. It's also known as the Easton Cemetery. It is supposedly one of the most haunted cemeteries in the entire United States. And like I personally, when I read that factoid, was just like, I want to see what the ranking list looks like for haunted
Right?
cemeteries.
I
And I
feel like
also want to
every
know if there are any
hotel,
non-haunted. Yeah.
yeah, every hotel, every cemetery, everything is always like, it's one of the most haunted. It's like, okay, so what's the actual most haunted? Like, where is the
Yeah.
ranking list? Who
Yes.
compiled this? Who
Yes.
decided
Who
this?
decides? Who decides these things?
That's what I want to know. I want to know like who's out there charting like the hauntings to say like this one is number one for sure most haunted. And like I also want to see the flip list where it's like, oh no, don't worry, this cemetery no ghost. You don't even have to worry about it.
No,
There's not a
no.
Yeah.
single
This is
ghost in
you
this
could
yard
have
filled
a
with dead people.
picnic in this cemetery. This
Yeah.
cemetery
Wouldn't
is
bother
just
anyone.
the best.
It probably gets its reputation as being one of the most haunted cemeteries in the US because the site itself dates back to the 18th century. So it has been around for a long time. I mean, as far as, American cemeteries go. I'm sure there are other cemeteries and burials all over the United States that are plenty older, but this one is being one of the oldest American cemeteries. Um, this is a fun fact, and we will go into before we talk about the ghosts. We are going to talk about some famous visitors to the cemetery
Okay.
because this cemetery was a favorite of Connecticut demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, who wrote an entire book
Ooh.
about it entitled Graveyard. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, if they're the ones ranking it as like the most haunted, I kind of trust that because they know what they're talking about.
They've seen some shit.
Well, in
Yeah, well.
theory, didn't there were some more recent reports of like there being some issue with their findings or some people coming out saying that they had lied or something. So it's kind of iffy. I would still put some merit to it because they did so much work in that field, but at the same time, they didn't rank it the most haunted.
Yep,
So,
yep. No, and that is one thing. We will definitely open up a can of worms on Ed and Lorraine Warren. I'm not going to go too in depth
ooh.
because it's not really an episode about them specifically, but like, oh boy, is there some tea. Um, so in 1992, Ed and Lorraine Warren published their book. It's called Graveyard: The Hauntings from an Old New England Cemetery. What a long name. But if you want to read it, that's what it's called. The first third of the book is published with kind of stories that involve the cemetery. So it's all kind of hauntings that are centered around the cemetery. There is even supposedly, I think, Ed Warren had some kind of a video of a spirit in the cemetery, but surprise, surprise, when he was pushed to release it, he has never released it. So the
Eh.
the tea on the Warrens that Joe referred to is in recent years they have been a lot of their cases have been debunked. They have not even fully debunked. There's a lot of like still speculation that like they covered a lot of true things but exaggerated. It is more the reputation for them. Not that there are no hauntings in any of the places that they looked, but just that they tended to be exaggerators. They had like this name to kind of uphold, so they would oftentimes like add, little embellishments and fake extra stories and claim evidence that would just shockingly never materialize. And they, if you really get into them, they have been like modernly canceled because they're also were found not to be great people. They had a a whole
Yeah.
situation with a I don't want to call her a girlfriend. Like it was a honestly Ed Warren is allegedly did some like grooming with this girlfriend. Lorraine kind of like did a little bit of the peer pressure to keep her in the threesome. It's like if you look into the Warrens, which I started to like
Ugh.
as part of this episode, and I just honestly
It's a
noped out of
lot.
it because I was like they just make better movie characters than they make real people. They're not that great. They're not that great in real life. So if you do choose to read their book, it's out there. I would just maybe have a little bit of discretion that they are known for, if not fabricating, at least embellishing their stories and that they are, personally controversial outside of even their ghost hunting. So the more you know.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that tie into as well the Catholic faith. Just
Mm-hmm.
something about some people connected with that religion, as we know from some of the things going on with priests in California currently. Um, it there's just some real shady shit that kind of happens because of that aspect of feeling like they have the ability to empower themselves through the name of God or their God,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily my God. Spoiler alert, I don't really believe in God. Who ever could have guessed that so far? But just something about that factor always gives me a little bit of pause when it comes to people that do investigations and ghosts and whatnot of like, is it really that you're truly trying to
Yeah.
find evidence and help ghosts move on or figure out the story? Or is it just you're trying to take on that sort of power and embellishment of the Catholic faith and turn something to popularize it again? You know?
Yeah, and that was always something that I thought was interesting with them because they considered themselves demonologists. And I don't like to go too far into like labeling my beliefs, but I really personally don't believe in demons. I will say I believe in ghosts. I believe in spirits. I don't really believe in demons. I think for the most part, human beings are plenty capable of being mean and doing bad things.
Their own
Oh,
evil.
Especially
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially if
100%.
they've been dead for 100 years and they maybe lost a little touch with that humanity, right? So I
Yeah.
think that even just looking at their cases, and there are real people involved in some of their cases, and a lot of people are kind of hit or miss. Like people will say, the Warrens were like banging down my door and like wouldn't leave me alone until I let them investigate. And other people, I think, there are reports of like, no, it was all real. So I wasn't involved with them ever. I can't say one way or the other that all of their stories are completely made up. I wouldn't go that far. I do think there's a clear line of embellishment there. And I think once you get into people that claim everything's a demon, I mean, frankly, I feel the same way about Zach Bagans, where once you're making claims that everything is a demon,
Yeah.
then I believe that you're at least embellishing, right? So
Yeah.
Just
just
ever
gonna
so
drop that one
slightly.
there.
Slight sagoo, as M would say,
Yes, from
from
our
one of our
one of our
favorite
favorite
podcasts.
podcasts.
Funny enough that this episode is mentioning demons because I literally just had an ad a couple of days ago pop up on Amazon of a
Mm-hmm.
sale and had to buy it because I've had it on my wish list forever and I never bought it.
Uh-oh.
The Occult Tarot, and it has demons on it.
That's awesome.
And
Oh.
as you guys know, when I get a new deck for the tarot cards or oracle cards, I like to just like shuffle and pull one at random to give me an idea of what my relationship with the deck is going to be. And it pulled the card. I'll have to look up which demon it was really quick, but it was the card that represents the lovers, and each card has a demon representative on it as well. So, which one? Which power ones? Pentacles, pentacles. It's not in like any sort of order in this book either when it comes to like the normal tarot card order. It goes in
Yeah.
order of like demon names. The lovers is represented by the demon Zipar, which it said causes women to love men, can make women barren, resonates with the lovers in the traditional tarot. Like that, it's a weird choice, but I
Yeah.
like that it wants to have a good relationship with me. So there's that. A fun little segue for us there to get out of the Ed and Lorraine and Catholic Church bullshit.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Just going straight into, out of the church and into the hellfire. So
Yes, exactly. As I want to do.
yes, as maybe we like to toe the line at least here on this podcast. So
Just a little bit.
just teeniest bit. No, if you are ever, so I'm gonna have a segue plug for like another bit of media that I like though. If you are ever into watching ghost hunters that like do treat ghosts like human beings, and I personally don't believe do a lot of embellishing, watch Kindred Spirits. It's great
Yes.
with Amy and Adam, who are TAPS alumni, and like they are all about like the history, and it's awesome. So if you want like a palate cleanser kind of ghost hunting experience from like an N. Lorraine Warren, a Zach Bagans, Everything is Demons, like go watch that. That's my recommendation. All right. So now we're going to go through some of our most popular ghosts in the cemetery. And it's so funny to me It's really, really so funny to me that this is the most haunted cemetery because I only really found two ghosts. Like as I'm searching through, there's lots of
Yes.
stories about these like
Maybe
ghosts,
they're
but it's
very
like
active though.
two of them. Yeah,
Maybe.
it's. I guess that's it. Like it's supposed to be a very active cemetery, and then there's some like miscellaneous ghosts in the background, but like they don't get names, I guess, so they're like not concentrated in any one place
They're
or
not
doing one thing.
important
So
enough.
yeah, they're not
Rude.
like Ed and Lorraine Warren didn't see them firsthand, so we're not worried about them, right?
I still am, I get it, it's old, but I struggle to think that this could possibly be more haunted than some of the cemeteries in Louisiana. I'm just gonna say it. Like,
Seriously.
those are some haunted freaking cemeteries. They got like voodoo clashing with like it's crazy haunted.
Plus, you've got tons more people, I feel, in a place like Louisiana trying to like open portals and summon spirits regularly than you would in Connecticut. So I think they could, if there's doorways, possibly open doorways for more spirits, more entities to come out there than you would see in Connecticut. So it's a little weird.
Yeah, especially Connecticut. Like, I mean, my U.S. history is not great, but it was started with like Puritan settlements, didn't it? Like,
yeah,
we're not we're not fucking with a lot of shit if we're Puritans. Like that's kind of the whole MO of a Puritan. So I imagine that it's very tame. It's very tame up there.
Tame ghosts.
All right. The tamest of ghosts, frankly. All right, so getting into our big ghosts. First of all, who had Lady in White on their bingo card? Oh, it was Amy.
Amy.
Congratulations, Amy. You scored a point of this game. We do have a Lady in White. She is the most popular ghost at the cemetery. So, honestly, gold star.
Woo woo. All right.
There's always a lady in some color. Always.
There is.
Always.
There is.
Usually red, white, or black.
Usually white.
So
yeah.
She definitely would have fit in with the white stripes, I think, is like the MO. It's like, it's just gotta be those alt rock colors and we're good to go. She has been reported being seen around the cemetery since the late 1940s. So not original to the cemetery, somewhat more recent ghost, at least recent compared to the date the cemetery started. She has been videotaped and photographed by a number of people. And I am just remembering now that you guys have slides you could be looking at. Oh man, I normally do this for everyone. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties during this podcast. Not me. So I'm kind of doing a little juggle today, so bear with me. So if you want to go to, let's catch you back up before I tell you about Our Lady in White, because I do have some fun photos of her. So Our Lady in White, so if you want to go to slide 2, that is the Easton Cemetery. It's a picture by Carl Thomas Moore. So it shows the cemetery with like this kind of filter, makes it look like very spooky is why it's included. So we'll make sure to, link that with some credit, maybe on the Instagram so you guys can see it too. But if you want to actually see what the cemetery looks like to the average person walking through it, you can go down to slide 3 as well.
Where you get it during the day and without the effects around the edges, making it look all misty and spooky.
Yeah, where it looks kind of just like
a peaceful little cemetery.
A regular ass cemetery, yeah.
Also, again, I say this anytime we look at pictures of somewhere other than the Southwest, but everything's fucking green. God,
I know.
Guys, we're recording this towards the end of October, and it's still in the high 90s right now. Like, I can't anymore with this state.
It's horrible.
Fucking
it's
bullshit.
Horrible. We're all gonna leave, and then all of our next seasons will just be random different states we've all moved to. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Then, if you guys want to head down, so catching us back up, if you guys want to head down to picture 4, that is Ed and Lorraine Warren. That is it, just for anyone who's maybe only seen them in the movies. That is what they really looked like. So that's them a little bit older. They still they dress the same. Like they've kind of always dressed a little bit the same. But that's if you go down to number 5, this was when I was supposed to give you guys they've been canceled. We have canceled Ed and Lorraine Warren in the year 2024. So just so you know, everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. 6 and 7 are just really, really cool. Just some extra pictures I found of
Oh,
some tombstones from
Ooh.
someone who was actually exploring around the cemetery, took some pictures, said
one
they
of
didn't
them's knocked
capture anything
over.
paranormal. Yeah, it looks, yeah, one of them was like cracked. One of them was knocked over. I couldn't tell if it was like laid down that way, or if it fell down. But I mean, it's an old, old cemetery, so not really
Yeah.
surprised. And then if you guys want to hang out on page 7, I'll tell you more about Our Lady in White. So she's been, like I said, photographed and videotaped. I haven't found any of the photos really of her. So I haven't seen anything of people saying it's her really, at least not on the internet. So maybe it's in books. I imagine there are books about it and maybe captured there, but nothing I've seen. Um, some that pass by the cemetery have seen her on a nearby road, so she doesn't just stay inside the cemetery. And even people have reported, that classic story of like fearing that they've hit someone who walked out into the road. They stop, they check and see who's there. Nobody is there. So she's one of those broads. She doesn't like stay in the cemetery. She kind of wanders out and plays victims with traffic. So
I like it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think
Very lady in white.
if I were a ghost, I would be like, I'm bored. I'm gonna fuck with this car that's coming by right now.
yep.
Like I'd be
Well,
doing that
and
to kill my
I
time.
feel like that's the other lady in white ghost stereotype, is that it's usually something to do with like abandoned roads that you find them on, like hitchhikers in white
Mm-hmm.
is usually a lady in
Mm-hmm.
white, and then she just disappears from your car. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very fitting. Makes
I think
Yeah.
sense.
so too. I think so too. Yeah, because the lady in white's usually seen on roads, and I actually do have a little bit about the lady in white archetype, the white lady archetype. So a white lady or a woman in white is a type of female ghost. She is typically dressed in a white dress or a similar garment, reportedly seen in rural areas, like Joe said. So typically rural roads is a big one, and often associated with local legends of tragedy. So that is she's kind of like your stereotypical ghost you see out and about. Usually you see more like women in red if they're like in an old brothel, and women
Or
in
the
black.
wronged woman, if she was like somehow the wronged woman, like
Yeah.
the woman in red,
Mm-hmm,
right? Yeah.
And
mm-hmm.
then woman in black is usually a widow who could never let go of her husband after his death or
So
something like
yeah, in
that.
Mm-hmm.
some like Victorian
Yeah.
mansion, things like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Hmm.
we color code our women based on what sort of womanly reason they died. Like all three of them
Yeah.
are really just like how it just like reeks of like how men assumed women died. It's like,
Yes.
oh well, that
Yes.
one died because she was mad, so she's red. That one died because she was sad, so
Yeah.
she's black and in
Yeah.
mourning. And that one died,
Yeah.
and
Because
she
she was
was
innocent
just
and
like
taken
She was
advantage of.
an
innocent.
So,
Yeah,
innocent
she was
victim. So
innocent.
she's white. She's the
Mm-hmm.
white woman now. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's all that like kind of weird stuff. Um, but whatever, maybe white was just a very popular color in 1940. Next up, I actually have two theories. So there are two headstones in the cemetery um, related to who we think the woman in white might be, but we don't know which
okay.
one. So if you want to go to slide 8, that is our first possible one. So at some point, I don't know how we found the name Harriet to be connected to the woman in white, but she is connected with the name Harriet, and there are two gravestones in the cemetery, in the Easton Cemetery, with the name Harriet. So this first one is for Harriet R. Seeley. The tombstone inscription, as recorded in there's the tombstone, and then there's an inscription from a historical society. It's from the Fairfield Historical Society, and her life was 18. It looked like, what was it? She
1825 to
died.
1853.
Yeah, 1825 to 1853. So the reports have been coming in since the 1940s, but I guess she's not a 1940s ghost. They're saying that's just the for some people have been recording seeing her specifically. So this is one woman, a wife of Ezra Seeley. I don't see a lot of evidence for why she died. It says most likely it was an illness. So assumption is that she died of an infection during birth. So people are just attributing that
Mm.
to her. That is potentially why she's like the woman in white, is she died during childbirth and was buried, and it was very traumatic.
Like,
The next woman I think is actually similar, is I think I accidentally put the same
Yeah.
headstone
I was gonna
twice.
say it's
Sorry,
the same
girls.
image twice, so I don't know if I'm just seeing something wrong or
No, I'll have
what's
to dig it up. I'll
happening.
share it with you guys maybe afterwards. But the other option from that same historical society, there's another woman who lived from around that same time. Um, but her name was Harriet Bryans. And she had a tombstone with an inscription. Records indicate that she died at the home of her husband in Washington, Connecticut. And it said that she died most likely of an illness or an accident, but that it was the same thing. Kind of this woman with a short lifespan. She lived and died around the same time, and that the husband named a future daughter that he had after her. So these are the women that most likely, I guess, she's seen in the white clothes she's seen in, people associate with that time period of like the 1880s. And these are the only tombstones of women that kind of fit that time period. So these are like the assumptions people in this historical society have made, that like this is who the woman in white is. But I haven't found any. I mean, maybe it's there and I didn't dig far enough. I didn't really find anything like EVPs of her saying one of these names, or like pictures of her necessarily where you could see anything more than like I saw a few pictures online of like a mist, but didn't include too much of them. Um, there is one actually next, which you guys can go in and see. And like this is kind of the quality of photo I've seen. So slide 10 is like a common picture of what I've seen, where it's not really so much a person as it is like a streak of light or
Wispy.
maybe a wispy
Yeah.
mist, like things like that. So a lot of mist photos I could find online for the cemetery, but really not a lot of video audio evidence that like I could go through and felt like I could share with you guys. So there are lots of pictures. I went through lots of like little sightings of people like walking around the cemetery and taking pictures of it, but really it was just looking at the cemetery or edited to look like more spooky things like that. So yeah, not a lot on her. Next, we have one more popular ghost seen around this cemetery, and unfortunately, I don't think he was on anybody's bingo card, but he was called Red Eyes.
Don't like that.
That doesn't
Don't
sound
like
good
that.
at all.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm
I
out.
don't like that
That's
either.
Mothman shit. I'm done. Okay.
100%. 100%. And he's like, Red Eyes is really, really weird. So he's believed to be the ghost of an Earl Kellogg, a man who was set on fire and burned to death across the street from the cemetery in 1935. So like,
well, Jesus, I'd be haunting the place too.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I feel sorry for him. A second ago, I was terrified. Now I'm like, this poor fucking guy. I hope he haunts everything.
Wait. Why did he get lit on fire?
Yeah. Oh, good point, Joe. Good point.
You know, I didn't see that. And
well, that doesn't fucking help.
You know, I'm at my computer doing research. Let's see if we can find that.
You're like, you know what? We have Google, Joe.
I have Google. I can look for that. I didn't see anything like in the original note, and mostly it's like people talking about it like a ghost story. So I don't know that there's like
that's so
anything
odd.
even in 1935. I don't know that there's anything verifiable that says like, oh yeah, this is a dude that for sure happened and for sure died and was for sure set on fire. And it says like, yeah, I don't know. So I don't really know much about him. I don't have any sort of news articles that I could find. I mean, granted, at one day, guys, I'm going to just sign up for like one of those like sites that lets you kind of like look through old news articles online, and I'm just going to like cross-reference all this stuff. But for the most part, like the research I get is just like ghost story level, where it's just like, oh, why would you need to know that? He's a ghost now. Like, learn about that.
Rude.
Yeah.
Shouldn't a lot of those to be more like publicly available as well? I feel like it's again, everything's turned into a monopoly. You have to pay for everything. Like,
Yeah.
why can't we just search old newspapers without having to, like, try and find a library that kept old newspaper records and use one of those really
Yeah.
old computers with the dial that turns the
Microfiche.
pages for it? Yes,
Mhm,
that.
Microfiche. Yeah. I don't even think they
Yep.
have those anymore. Like
Nope.
that.
They need like would love it. Like we need to
Yeah.
capture all that digitally. But no. So yeah, Earl Kellogg supposedly caught on fire. That's it. That's it. The lady in white, like the other common ghost story I saw for her, was like that she was just a murder victim who died in the 40s. So maybe she's not one of these two women from like the 1880s. Maybe she's just a woman who died nearby, like murdered nearby the cemetery in the 40s. Like, but then they don't go into any of these things. So I had these two like other women that I'm like, oh, at least I have names for them and like a gravestone. So like I'll report on them a bit more. Like that's a little bit more than like, oh yeah, she was just a murder victim from the 1940s. Like, but then there's like never anything I can find. And granted, I will say I do a lot. My stuff is a lot more surface level because like we're recording these pretty
Fair.
quickly. Like I can't. I'm not writing a full book on her. Like I just don't have time to do all this research, very in depth. But like yeah, the same with this Earl Kellogg. Like every time I would search for him, it would just be like, oh yeah, he haunts a cemetery because he was set on fire. Like that was it. That was
Yeah.
period,
That was the
full
extent
story.
of the knowledge. Yeah.
You would think that people remember more about that story of someone fucking catching fire.
Seriously, like they had
Especially in
newspapers at that
1935.
time. How is like this not more documented? That's insane.
Again,
How
this
do you
is why
die
we need
that way?
we need a ranking system for the
Yes.
supposedly most haunted cemeteries. Because
Yeah.
I mean, no fault to you, Amber, but this is kind of lackluster. Like
well-
this is just the fault of people not fucking getting their stuff right or putting anything out there.
You're telling me, man. I was looking for locations in Connecticut. I found most haunted cemetery. I was like, man, this has got to be a banger.
I'm there. Yeah.
Let's see. What I can tell you about Red Eyes is what people experience of now. So we have no idea who he was, really. Like, kind of who he was, but like not really, right? We have no idea why he was set on fire.
Can hear it sounds like either Brett and the baby or the baby in the background.
No, that was music.
No, that was music. That was from my house.
Oh, that's so funny. I just thought I was
Kyle's
going
home and
crazy
he
for a
causes
second.
chaos, so.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. I just like for a split second I was like, am I going crazy? Is the cemetery haunting me because I'm talking shit about it online?
Seriously, I was like, oh my god, it's the ghost children. The ghost children are coming.
Red Eyes doesn't like this. So he gets pretty creepy again. Like you feel bad for him now. He gets pretty creepy again. Like the reports for Red Eyes are like people reported feeling hot breath on the back of their necks.
Oh,
Don't like that.
no.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Creepy man stuff. I don't like it. I
Just,
don't
like
like it.
hovering real up close to you. It just like
No,
Betty's mouth breather. Not great.
Nuh-uh.
And then it seems also like he's a little pissed. Like I think he does this on purpose. Like he might just be like very, very mean. But
I mean,
so you feel a hot breath on your neck, and then when visitors turn around, they see mysterious red eyes peering back at them.
extra creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Super
I would
creepy.
get it if he's mad because he was set on fire. But again, we don't know the context of that. And also, what if you're not doing anything wrong? You're just a visitor. You're just trying to communicate, and all of a sudden it's just like down your neck and red eyes behind you.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that there were these knocked over headstones because people are like tripping over shit trying to get the fuck out of that cemetery after feeling hot breath on their neck.
Oh yeah, no, I picture full on Scooby-Doo running. Like they hop up in the air, the feet start going, they power forward and knock down a couple headstones, and that's it.
God,
100%, that would be me.
100.
what?
No, yeah,
That's great.
same.
Anyway.
Do not breathe on me. Do not breathe on me. That's gross. Like even the red eyes, like kind of creepy, yeah, sure, whatever. But like, do not breathe on me. I don't want that.
I know.
Nobody wants
That's
that.
just gross.
Well, and it's just like seeing something is one thing. That's scary enough. But when it can physically affect you, like, okay, you're just choosing to show me that you could do something physically to me if you wanted to. And this is just your way of fucking with somebody.
Yeah.
Which is not cool. Not cool at
Yes.
all.
Honestly, so creepy. Like 100% so creepy. Do not like that. No, but you're right, because
No.
that is like, that is very close to being able to like touch you or like scratch you
Yes.
or like, yes, it's, yes.
Not.
So, not a fan of him. Not a fan of him.
Mm-mm.
Other than that, so those are our two ghosts that are important enough to get like, they don't even get names. They get like
Kind of names, yeah.
nicknames.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
their
those are the,
names.
you get ghosts that have like some nicknames, and that's kind of it. And then some like maybe associated names, question mark, but it really feels like we slapped some
Could
names
you
down on these ghosts. So.
Imagine being a ghost. This may be why he's pissed. Could you imagine being a ghost and having an actually like decent name, and then they call you Earl? Earl Kellogg on top of that. Like, that's not a cool name, man. That's like an old man name.
Yeah.
What if he was like some sort of party boy and now he's just mad because everyone keeps calling him Earl and he's like, my name's not Earl, it's Chad.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And they like got the totally wrong ghost, and he's like, "Oh my god, I want you to stop." Maybe he's only breathing on people like right in front of his own tombstone, and they all run away too fast to like turn around and see like here.
He's like, that was a
Chad
clue.
McCool.
This is my real name.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Damn. Sorry, bud. Sorry, buddy. Other than these two, though, there are some extra reports, because I guess it being the most haunted cemetery, there's got to be like some other stuff that happened.
I would hope.
So it has been reported that people who take photos at the cemetery have later found orbs, light rods, mists, and apparitions in them. So really, that's it. Like, it's not anything that you're feeling time of. It's just you take pictures and there's stuff in it. I saw some of these, like I said, a lot of the photos I looked through, again, not a lot of EVPs. Can't really blame that because it's outside. There's a lot of noise contamination. Maybe it's just hard to get a good EVP. But all of the photos I found are really just like that one that I showed you guys in that last slide today. That's kind of everything that we see, where it's just like you'll get a photo and it's like the background's kind of blurry. So it's honestly a lot of these photos. I'm somebody who is critical of like mist and orb photos, like in general. I think sometimes they can be neat if they have like some kind of unique movement to them, or they're layered with something else happening. Like maybe they're kind of cool, but taken on their own, to me, it's usually just like, oh, that's probably some light or like some dust or like a bug or so. Like on their own, I tend to discredit them. I'll admit. Not that I think necessarily that the one I'm sharing or the person that who took this photo that I'm sharing with you guys is not trustworthy, or that this isn't something, just that like I personally don't put a lot of stock in them as like, on my ranking of like what evidence I'll really kind of like look at on its own and be like, oh wow, that's really compelling. These kind of photos are just not it for me. So, but yeah, that's all of the hauntings in one of the most haunted cemeteries in the country. That's all of them.
Connecticut, you let me down, man.
I know.
I got so excited for cemetery, and yet there's no. This is on the East Coast, where there were like Puritans and Revolutionary battles, probably, and there's no dead soldiers. There's a lady in white, maybe, who just gets caught as wisps, and some dude with red eyes that likes to breathe heavy on your neck because he's fucking creep. Yeah. Like, come on, Connecticut. Yeah.
Oh, well, I totally thought, like, once it was, like, the Easton Cemetery, because it's like the Easton Cemetery / the Union Cemetery, and I was like, oh, man, soldiers.
Maybe there's Union soldiers. It's like Civil War-ish.
Yeah, I thought, like, I'm like, ooh, we're in for, like, a good time. But yeah, the place really just not happening.
I wonder if, so, like, when you typically do your stories, right, they're where people either died or had a connection to. Just because you're buried somewhere doesn't mean you have you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's fair.
It's just a piece of ground that somebody planted somebody in. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily, like, Red Eyes makes sense. He got burned right across the street from the cemetery. That makes sense to have a tie. So maybe that's why it's not.
Yeah.
as
Maybe
many
maybe
ghosts
all
showed up.
maybe all cemeteries are really not that haunted because you're right,
Yeah.
all the
They're
ghosts
just
are somewhere
creepy.
else.
They're just old and creepy, and so your imagination
Hmm.
runs wild with you. But yeah,
Yep.
I mean, what tie do they really have to that?
Yeah, that's why I do think it's interesting. I think that like I know that there have been these tombstones found and like there's this potential for this woman to have been buried there, but I do think I wish that there was any more like news info I could have found about this woman who was supposedly murdered in the 1940s that they think as like the ghost story version of who she's connected to.
Yeah.
So like that would
Because if
Yeah.
make
you think
sense
it's someone from the
too.
1940s that was murdered, you
Yeah.
you would think you would have more details on it. But if she's also showing up in Victorian garb, why would she only start showing up in the 1940s?
But then, yeah, it's like all these stories that are happening too, or like she doesn't really seem to be showing up in any garb. Like it's that's the funny thing too is like people
It's
are
just
like, oh, I see
white,
her in white,
misty.
She's
but
just
like that's
white.
what I'm wondering too. She's just like a misty shape, and they're like that looks kind of like a woman shape mist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I really didn't see any accounts of like she's wearing this type of clothes that we're seeing in white. It was just kind of like, oh, she's just like a white woman.
White
And she
mist.
shows up as mist
Yeah.
sometimes. So that's kind of what I think we're looking at too, where it's like, okay, yeah, so maybe these ghosts are just like two people that died near the cemetery that are now haunting it
Hmm.
because they don't have anywhere else to
Yeah.
be.
And then Ed and Lorraine just took it and ran with it and
Oh, they ran
hyperbolized the
hard.
shit out of it.
They
Yeah.
So
ran so
Yeah.
wrote a
hard and
whole
so
goddamn
fast.
book. Now
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious to read the book though, because I want to see what they had to say about this cemetery.
Yeah. Because if, I mean, to your point, if you didn't, and not that you dug and dug and dug and dug, but if you didn't find that much background information, like, how could they have enough to fill a book?
Yeah,
Like,
And like I think
without
that is
embellishing or making shit up.
curious.
I think that's the big thing, right? Is because I mean I know they did a lot of like field work, so a lot of this stuff seems like these are just kind of ghost stories that are maybe handed down verbally. Like you walk past the cemetery and somebody says, "Oh, I know a person who had this happen to them." That's kind of what this place like seems like to me, where it's like you have it's a spot of local legend more than it's a
Hmm.
spot where we have like any kind of evidence or reports of like real
Yeah.
paranormal activity. So and it seems like maybe they kind of canvassed the neighborhood and like asked just like we're there for a while and maybe they got some photos that they included in. Like I said, I haven't read the book, so I don't know if they've like actually shown some of their evidence there. But then maybe some of it too is just they asked people and people were like, "Oh yeah, this is what we've seen or my aunt's seen or my grandpa's seen." And unless we
Yeah.
forget, like not to discredit all psychics, I'm really not going to go into that there. I think that's another can of worms. But Lorraine Warren did consider herself a psychic, so who's to
Yeah.
say some of these stories weren't embellished from her claiming to have psychic experiences
Experiences or
there.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
all of those are fake or some of them were real, like who's to say? But if you're going into that territory, it is like categorically a lot easier to make those things up. So, I won't
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
I won't say all psychics are frauds. I think there's a little bit of gray area for like intuition and things like that, but I will say once you get into that zone, it's a lot easier to kind of just get to make up stories and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what happened."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Especially to your point, if they're, this is going to sound really bad to say, but if they're very religious people, they have trained their brain to see
Yeah.
signs and
Hmm.
everything to reinforce what they already believe.
Hmm.
Instead of looking at things with an open mind and saying, I experienced this, they
Yeah.
go in with this thought of, if anything happens, it reinforces what I already think it should be.
Yeah.
Kind of like the
Yeah.
Zach Baggins mentality of everything is demons. Like the second
Yeah.
something seems negative or off, it's automatically demons.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
go in
And
there already thinking it, it's like
Mhm.
everything's going to support that.
Hmm.
And I think that is it too. It's like not necessarily, and it doesn't even have to be like we're not even. I don't even think we're pinpointing like a religion as a fault of that, right? But it's the difference between
I
going
mean,
in
true.
with like, it's the difference between going in with a. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's specifically because of that. I would say it's more like the opposite, where it's like they didn't go in with a strict scientific process, right? Like the whole point of a scientific process is like it helps kind of weed out some of that spiritualist thinking, or some of that like even just like kind of bias. Our brains, human brains are pretty hardwired to like see patterns and make patterns. So
And
I
Yeah.
mean,
filling
you kind of
gaps.
need a process to test and kind of reject those criteria. And they were not the type
Yeah.
of people, to your point, they're not the type of people to go in and like approach ghost hunting that way. They kind of like lived in the gaps. So
Yeah.
that's, that's just take it however you want to, but that's just kind of the way it is. So yeah. Um, with that, I will say that's about all I have on the cemetery.
All right.
So I
Still
guess.
a beautiful cemetery. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely, I like just to go and look at the different eras of, the
Mhm.
gravestones. If you're someone who likes to do the etchings and the, whatever, what do they call
Mhm.
those where you put the paper on it and the charcoal?
I think that's
Etchings, I
just an
think, is
etching, yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's a very, very beautiful, actually, I mean, probably not at night, but during the day, very beautiful,
Yeah.
peaceful looking cemetery.
Mhm.
At night, I think that secluded woody area might get a little
Yeah,
creepy to general
yeah,
human beings
Mhm.
because you're out in the dark and there's tons of woods and there could be noises from animals and whatnot. But during the day, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. So, all this being said, I guess what are your thoughts? Would you guys ever consider a ghost hunt in a cemetery? Do you think maybe not so
Yeah,
worth it after this, or
Yeah.
what do you think?
Heck yeah, I
I'd
think I
still be
would.
up for it because you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd just be more scientific about it. That's all there is to it.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
But I'm
Not
telling
everything's
you right
demons.
now, if something breathes on my neck, I am Scooby
I'm
Dooing the
out.
fuck out of there.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing too. Like the having the little bit of the scientific and multiple instruments, I think is great. But like, I am not the type of person who will 100% discount like just a personal experience. Like, oh,
Yeah.
because if I feel it, like I know I'm freaking out, so I'm not gonna blame anybody
Yeah.
Yep.
else for being like, no, I
Yeah.
had an experience. So I just didn't even see that much. Like I didn't. I saw reports of people having experiences, like kind of like again that like, oh, I know a guy who, but like not
Yeah.
a lot of people
Mm.
who firsthand were
Said
like, oh yeah,
firsthand, it
I
was me.
experienced
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because
A
I
friend
would,
of my
yeah.
cousin's sister's brother had this
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
experience.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, perfect. So with that, I mean, can you visit the cemetery? I mean, kind of. It is a cemetery, so like it's open to the public. It's open for visitations. But obviously be respectful. It's not a playground. It's not like, any place that you should be kind of defiling or disrespecting. So make sure that that is being taken into consideration. Um, there are there's another haunted place in Easton. I only found one more in Easton, Connecticut, where the cemetery is, but it's the Penfield Reef Lighthouse. So it's nearby, or it's at least in the same town. Not much else within the town itself. Even that's kind of a little outside the town. But Connecticut is very small and supposedly very haunted. So feels like you could just kind of drive around. It wouldn't take you that long to get out of Easton, and you would probably stumble across something else haunted out there. Other than that, if you are ever in Easton, it is kind of just a quaint little farming town. It's very small, kind of outdoorsy, lots of neat things to kind of do there, lots of orchard and leaves. And if you kind of just look it up, it's just kind of a very cute little place to be. So, if you're in Connecticut in the fall anyway, doesn't hurt to drive through. So if you're just looking for a day of like actual like I want to go back east to have fall activities. Like this looks kind of like that picture perfect fall. So there's that. Right. And once again, I'm Amber.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Joe.
And this has been Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. If you like this episode, please consider reviewing and sharing our show. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like what we do and want to help us cover more macabre places, you can join us on Patreon, linked in the comments below. That's all. Bye.